so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. I see a lot of people on. Okay, I see a few people join our already joined on YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's drop where we are joining from. Where are you joining from? Where are you joining from? Where are you joining from? Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Where are you joining from? I will be in the chat to see where people are joining from. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, we have someone joining from Abuja. We have Tessie joining from Jos. Okay, let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. On YouTube, I want to see where you are joining from on YouTube. We have someone saying she's joining from the beautiful city of Uyo, and that is our head of partnerships there. Please let us celebrate her. So she's joining from the beautiful city of Uyo. Loveline is joining from Lagos. Mercy is joining from Ogba, Lagos. Patience is joining from Lagos. Let's keep it coming. Let's know where we are joining from. I want to see how much we are taking over the world. Okay, Ayodele is joining from Lagos. Adeshola is joining from Lagos. We have Salamat joining from Abuja. Constance joining from Owerri. Good evening, Constance. Thank you for saying hi. We have Dr. Vincent joining from Lagos. We have Moses joining from Owerri. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Okay, on YouTube, we have someone, Mr. Adebayo from Lagos. All right, Mr. Adebayo from Lagos. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to have everybody on the call today. In fact, it's good to be celebrating the International Day of Education with you. We have David joining from Abuja. Oh my God, this is awesome. This is awesome. We have different people around the world. That is great. That is great. That is great. Okay, so while we are saying where we are joining from, we can already go into the group chat. If Mrs. Chinelo is on the call, kindly unlock each of those groups. Please unlock all the groups and let's have conversations on the group. I am sure a lot of people might want to drop one or two message, either they are having challenge joining or they want to say something. Okay, so let's do that quickly. Oh my God. So please, once the group is unlocked, let's tell people that we've started, we are live. It is International Day of Education, and I believe everybody should be here. This is a day to celebrate together. This is a day to celebrate together. It's good if you have passion for education, you know that this day is not just an ordinary day to celebrate. We really need to celebrate. Oh my God, we have a lot of people sending us message on Zoom. Oh, sorry, on YouTube. Thank you, thank you. Saka is joining from Abuja. We have another person joining from Adamawa. This is awesome. This is awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. We have someone joining from the beautiful city of Benin City also. All right. Good evening, blessing. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. So if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Evelyn Oguntiro, and I am the head of communication for KOJ Group, and under KOJ Group, we have the Train the Trainer as one of our brands. Okay. Hi T, can we have everybody muted? Can we have everybody muted? Thank you so much. I see a lot of people in the waiting room. I hope we are accepting them in. Okay, we have Mr. Michael joining from Lagos. All right, thank you so much and welcome once again to International Day of Education. This is such a beautiful day. I don't know, I'm just so excited, right? I am so excited and all right, sorry, I was mistakenly muted. I'm sure that this is just beyond just saying being a teacher or being an educator. It's so much excites me to see that we are changing the course of education in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole. We have people who are doing great things in their classrooms, people who are doing great things in their school, people who are doing great things in their community, who are changing narrative about education. And we have a lot of them present here on the call. And it's just so beautiful having different people with different opinions, people with different mindset, people with different perspective about education here on the call tonight. Thank you so much for joining once again. I really appreciate it. So right about now, so that we're not wasting too much of our time, I would love to know if our okay, our programs director is already on the call. Our programs manager is here, and I'll just pass the mic to her right now. Good evening, Mrs. Ima.
Good evening. Good evening, Evelyn. You're looking lovely. Good
Thank
evening,
you,
everyone.
Mrs. Ima.
You're all welcome to this wonderful program. You're all welcome. Okay, I have a very simple job to do today, and that is I am looking at the organizational perspective of youth and education. So, simply put, I want to quickly analyze youth and education with the lens of an organization. So, briefly, I want us to think of a factory. You know, in the olden days or the old perspective of a factory, you have people producing things, giving to the customers. So, we now look at a school as a factory. And our students are like the customers. All they just do is soak in information that is given to them by their teachers. But this scenario is changing. Our classrooms are no longer a place where information is just being dished out to people, but rather there is a shift. Our students are gradually becoming more like participants, co-creators in the education of these students. We don't just want to see them as people that just sink in information. They are a part of the learning process. Teachers don't just give them, just dish out information. They have a role to play. They have a role to play. So in an organization, what is the primary interest of an organization? To invest and now get returns on investment. Education is what we are investing in the youth. And in future, we want to get return on our investments. What will be the return? When a youth is educated, they bring about economic growth, innovation. Look at Nigeria, for instance. Over 70% of our population are students. They are youths, rather. Over 70% of our population are youth. When we invest in this sector of our population, you can imagine where we would be tomorrow. And that is why education is shifting from just the teachers giving and dishing out instructions to us partnering with the youth. So that is what we are looking at today. We are looking at that a factory where the teachers are the architects, the students are the primary ecosystem where we build a system that will last. Education is sustaining. Education will help us drive that development we are looking at. And that is why we are here today to say, what is the power of this youth? What is their role in education? We don't want to undermine them because they are a factor that have a major role to play in education. So, my teachers, school leaders, as we sit and discuss today, I want us to open up our minds to the shifting role of our youth. They are shifting. They are not just to soak in information. They are becoming co-creators in the education narrative. So as we sit, I am trusting that we're going to have a wonderful time today. Let us build, let us invest in our youth, and let us see in no distant time we'll begin to reap the return on investment. Thank you very much, Evelyn. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. Wow, that was awesome. That was
Thank you.
awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was
You're welcome.
enlightening. Yeah, we need to start including youth in our education system, in the practice,
Yeah.
in the policy development, every step of the way. We need to start including you. Thank you so much, Ma, for that awesome session. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Yeah. It's good to be seeing new faces join the call. Awesome. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. And welcome to everybody on YouTube. Hi, we are saying hi from Zoom. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So, yeah, this session will be divided into two and segment. We'll be having a guided conversation where we have some members of our state coordinators. So if you do not know, we have state coordinators in TTT. And if you're joining us for the first time, TTT is Train the Trainer, an organization that looks to equipping African teachers. So we have our state coordinators in different states who manages our affairs in those states where they belong to or where they are resided where they are resides. So we have them on the call. We have some of them on the call, and we have some very important and amazing teachers and educators also join them, school leaders. I've heard them speak one, twice, and I'm like, wow. And I'm really sure that tonight, every one of us is going back to our classes on Monday with very significant lesson. We are going to be holding on to something important that can change our mindset about education and about how we teach our students in the classroom. Yeah, so we'll have the guided session and we'll also have the panel session. And so for the guided session, so please, as I'm introducing these people, I want us to come and I want us to clap, celebrate them, and don't just look at them as what are they going to say. I want us to I want everybody here to have a prepared mind. These people had come loaded. When I say loaded, they are loaded. All right, so I will just introduce them, and IT, please, um I will need us to spotlight them. I don't know how many people Zoom can spotlight at once, but I will need us to really spotlight. If we can spotlight all of them, especially when they are answering questions, I will need us to spotlight them. And I also need us to take note of their names in case we have to unmute them. Thank you so much. So one of our speaker is Miss Ene Ame. In the please let's celebrate. I want to see the clap emoji. I want to see the clap emoji. I want to see the clap. I can see someone video. The person is clapping. Thank you so much, Miss. Please, I can see you clapping. Thank you so much, Miss Enehame. Thank you, Mr. Bolaji. Thank you. Okay, and the other person will be Mr. Bamido. Mr. Bamido, thank you so much for joining us. Please let's celebrate, let's celebrate, let's celebrate, let's celebrate, let's celebrate, let's celebrate. Okay, thank you. I love your background, Mr. Bamido. I love what I'm seeing. I love it. I love it. All right. Okay, and the next person is Miss Bumi. I don't know if Miss Bumi is on the call. Miss Bumi, are you on the call? I want to be sure Miss Bumi is on the call. Miss Bumi, if you're on the call, kindly say hello. Okay. All right, that's fine. I think we'll just move on. All right, so the next person is Miss Rita. Miss Rita, thank you. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome everybody. Okay, thank you so much. Heidi, can we spotlight Miss Rita? If that is not possible, we can always just move ahead. Okay, but I can see a video on. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So, okay. I will start from Miss Rita. Yeah. Miss Rita, are you there? Can we see your face? Can we see your beautiful face? Are we there? Are you there? Okay.
Yeah, I can
Are
hear
you
you.
okay? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So this question is going to be going around the room. I mean, round all the speakers. That Mr. Bamido, Miss Rita, and Mrs. Ame. So having that
Yeah.
question random, and I just need you all to share your knowledge and share your insight about it. So what comes to mind when you use the word co-create or co-creating in education? Especially, what does it mean to you in your maybe everyday classroom or as a school leader? What does co-creation mean to you?
Okay. All right. Can everyone hear me? I'm sorry, NEPA
Yes,
did it. The power, NEPA did it what now? They just took away the lights. Okay, so when
it's
we
not
talk
me.
about co-creation,
Yeah.
when we talk about co-creation, we actually talk about the coming together, right? We talk about the coming together of different sectors. For example, companies. We talk about coming together of people with different ideas, shared beliefs to to share their knowledge and also to put in effort to achieve a mutual benefit, to become innovators. For example, let me simplify this. Just think of everyone being in a desert, right? God created each and every one of us and then he just kept us in a desert. And like, okay, I don't know what people are going to do, but just, sort yourself out in this desert, right? Now we have builders there, we have bakers there, we have teachers there, we have, so many people with different skills. And then somebody comes up now to just keep, telling people, okay, this is what you're going to do. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. This person is a solo, is just, leading without asking ideas or without asking people how they can actually innovate. This person just does this thing themselves. Do you really think anything we can actually make out anything from there? Do you really think there is anything beautiful we can build? Nothing. There is nothing. But now if this person who has been appointed as a leader comes together to ask the other people, please share your knowledge. What do you think we should do? What idea can you bring? Who is a builder here? This person says, okay, I'm a builder and this is what we are going to do. This is how many blocks we need to create this house or build this house. Okay, for you're a medical doctor. So what do you think? How many drugs or what kind of drugs do you really think we can actually get? You understand? Before you know what is happening, everybody comes together with their expertise, with their knowledge, with their knowledge, with they just come together to create something beautiful. And at the end of the day, you find out that they've come together they've come together to put in a structure that cannot just that will benefit everybody, not just for themselves. So for co-creation, it's actually coming. It's bringing people together with shared beliefs to create a structure that will be of benefit to society.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I love the analogy you use. I love the example you use. I love how that you even brought real life experience into this. Thank you so much for that response. And we have your response.
Please.
Okay, thank you. So I think I'll take it off from what Ms. Rita said. Can you hear me very clearly?
Yes, I can. Hi, Tis,
Oh,
can you do your thing? Oh,
okay,
Miss
so I
Rita,
can go
can
on.
you hear me? Yeah. You can go on, ma.
Okay, so I'm just going to center the co-creation idea around education specifically. And I think what comes to mind when talking about co-creation is, like Ms. Rita started off, it's a collaborative effort. So this collaborative effort spans beyond just what the students learn, but even to how the students learn. So when we talk about co-creation in education, we're talking about the coming together of different players, so school leaders, teachers, and students in possibly putting together what it is that forms the content of their learning and how that takes place. So, thinking about it in context here, we're talking about that collaboration in terms of okay, this is how best I learn. I learn through a lot of hands-on approach. So the teachers, the school incorporates a lot of experiential and a lot of experimental learning. It's also seen in the processes. So we're talking about project-based learning, and students have input as to how they're going to show or how they're going to demonstrate their learning. So you're not just teaching children, but teaching students, you're also asking them as we assess what is the best way to deliver, what's the best way to express your learning. So it's not just the teacher saying, okay, you're going to have to write a test that is 30 MCQ, multiple choice questions, and 3 essay questions. It takes the contribution of students as well to design what the assessment would look like. Are we going to do presentations? And then teachers taking those inputs. So basically, I would talk about co-creation in education as having inputs from multiple players, students, teachers, and school leaders.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I can see people clapping already. Thank you so much, everybody. That was an awesome response. Yeah, co-creation. We need to bring in everybody into the planning of the teaching and learning process. Both the teacher, the learner, and everyone involved needs to come together to collaborate. I think that's one of the word I would pick from what you said, collaboration. Okay, so on to Mr. Bamido. Mr. Bamido. All right. Heidi, can we have Mr. Bamido on mute? I'm sorry, Mr. Bamido, we can't hear. Okay,
Okay,
now you're on mute.
hello. Yes, I just unmute myself. Yes, according to the question you just asked, co-creating or co-creation in terms of education. In my own perspective, I think when we look at it in a broader perspective, you can understand that not just only the teacher can come into a classroom these days because we are trying to move from where we were to where we're supposed to be now. Because us as teachers, if we keep seeing our students as our partners or partners in our teaching and learning process, it will be good for us. So what our two speakers said, I don't want to go to that, especially when it comes to the definition. But in my own perspective, I think co-creation is for us as teachers to incorporate the ideas of students or our learners into our lessons, into what we want them to learn, and what we even want to learn in a simpler way, I can just say, okay, this is me trying to make use of their energy, to make use of their connectivity, because in classroom you see them connecting among themselves, and that is a good one. What we want in our class is collaboration, and in order to do this, is for us to co-create our lesson with our learners. Understand, we must understand that they have a major role to play in their learning process. In as much as we, as the teacher, we are not just there anymore as it used to be. We are just there to guide. We are now there to guide, to collaborate with them in their learning process. So this is how we can co-create with our learners. And it's education. We are talking about co-creation in education. It means, as you said earlier, every player must come together to make things work. That is the way forward. If we want our classroom to be better, our classroom to be fun, our classroom to experience the energy we want our classroom to be. Because gone are the days when our classroom is just passive. Teacher will just come to the class and talk. Learners will just say, okay, we are fed. No, we must. beginning to make them co-creators, we're beginning to make them participants, as in bringing their own ideas in their learning process. If we don't do this, I don't think we'll be moving forward. The way, if we talk about 21st century teaching skills, one of them is actually is collaboration. Apart from creativity that you also bring it into the classroom, critical thinking, collaboration is there. So we must start thinking towards this direction, as in to start co-creating with our learners, and as well as other key players in the school management and fellow teachers, our colleagues. We must start doing this if we want it to be better. So this is my point. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so sincerely, I feel like from the response of everybody, these are kind of conversations we need government officials in the room. These are kind of conversations we need curriculum developer to sit in the room so that we all can have this conversation. So it's a lot of work for us as educators, both teachers and school owners, when you see some policy being made at the top and then passed down to us to do or practice, and then you begin to you are just seeing a lot of things that are not um tailored to maybe the set of children you teach or the set of community you teach. These are kind of conversations that we all need to have and say, okay, how do we tailor this curriculum? How do we tailor this particular solution to this particular community? Because I'm very sure that if we all start speaking, a lot of schools have different issues they are encountering or they are going through when it comes to education. Like we all have different issues. We all a particular school might have good curriculum and implementation might actually be the problem. And some might have enough good hands to implement this curriculum, but the curriculum itself is not covering the holistic aspect that takes care of each child. So I believe that well, as we go on and the more we release our voices and the more we speak up, I'm very sure that one day somehow our voices will reach the top and definitely something will be done, right? So that leads me to my next question, and I'll start from Miss Enehame. So what practical steps do you think that the government officials, school owners, and even teachers can take to bring in this co-creation amongst our students and youth generally. Yeah, so for those that are just joining us, in case you're wondering, why are we talking about youth? Why are we talking about co-creation? The theme for the International Day of Education is the power of youth in co-creating education. And I feel like it is very important because we need to build system, we need to build structures with these people. Yeah, so back to the question, what are the practical steps we can take to co-create to ensure that we are building a classroom or we are building school structure system that brings everybody together. And this is not just limited to um just teachers alone. I know we've talked about teachers, teachers, teachers. I also want to hear, what do you think the government can do? These are conversations we can definitely publish, put out there, and from what we are doing, from conversations we are having, government officials, policy makers are seeing solutions to issues happening in the education system. So, Same, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Evelyn. That's a very loaded question. So I'll try to unpack as best as I can. Let's start with the government. I think the government has a very central role, a role that transcends into the classroom when it comes to co-creation. Um, just talking about when we say co-creation, that means there's creation that is happening, and then there's the collaboration side to it, right? So we need to start first at the part of what are we creating exactly, And when we talk about what we are creating, I like to think about creating an education system or an education provision that fits the aspirations of the youth. So those dreams, those hopes, those ambitions of the youth, that's what we're trying to create, right? Before we talk about people coming together, teachers coming together, students coming together to do that. So the first, our takeoff point as a people, so starting off with the government, is asking ourselves, what are we really creating? And that goes right to the bottom of teacher education. And I think the government, in our setting in Nigeria, the government is the central teacher training provider, right? We have many colleges of education, many federal institutions that are teacher training colleges. And in the recent times, we have private organizations who have delved into teacher training, post-uni or post-secondary teacher training, and then consultants that have also delved into teacher training. But the bulk of it still rests with the government. So what I would say, what I would see as the role the government can play in facilitating this co-creation is first of all to think about the creation. What are we creating? What is the content of our education like? And what is the content of our teacher training curriculum like? So you would find that many teachers who come into the classrooms are not prepared or trained to have meaningful relationships with students that would facilitate that co-creation to happen. And if they, because they are not trained, that doesn't happen, that doesn't translate to that co-creation happening in their classrooms or in their schools. So I would say the first takeoff point will be for the government to provide that enabling environment, first of all, for co-creation to happen at the colleges of education. So we're talking about rethinking the content and the structure of our colleges of education. How are our teachers trained? What is the philosophy behind the methods that are used by the lecturers there? Because a lot of times, if we really check, co-creation is not even happening that level. So I think that's where our government can come in, rethinking co-creation in colleges of education, rethinking the content, the what and the how of teacher training, and that in no small measure will translate into what it looks like in schools. Because in schools, we need teachers who are empathetic. We need teachers who connect with students. We need teachers who don't think the learners are passive recipients of knowledge, right? So if that happens from when they have received teacher training, we find that that's more likely to happen when they are also delivering instruction.
Okay. Um, Hi T. I think you mistakenly muted. Okay.
Was that my cue to stop? Anyway, I can hand
No,
off the
no, no,
baton
no, no,
to.
no. That was not a cue to stop. There was something went wrong somewhere. I'm enjoying the conversation, please.
Yeah, so I would say that I would say co-creating should start where our teachers are trained. And that's the government. That's the government to design what that teacher training should look like. And here at this time, it would also be with those who are being trained because we're thinking about the end result. What are their aspirations? What are the end goals? What are the dreams of what teaching should look like or what kind of teacher they want to aspire to be? So I think that's the onus rests on the government to set the ball rolling. And I think it would be like a domino effect at the end of the day, where that same kind of setup of co-creation will translate into their classrooms, where even with designing rubrics and assessments, they're doing it alongside their students because they have had a training that didn't just provide them a model, but helped them to experience that same thing when they were teachers in training.
Hmm. That's very that's so profound. Yeah, that's so profound. And I think that is like one important topic we even need to talk about on its own. How teachers are being trained in colleges of education. Oh God, like I actually attended a college of education, and I can tell you we weren't trained as teachers, right? We weren't trained as teachers. So and that's so important. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, so now I would pass the mic to Mr. Bamido. I'm not seeing Mr. Bamido spotlighted, and I'm wondering, is he still on the call? IT, can you help me? All right, Mr. Bamido is still here. Yeah, I can see you. All right, thank you.
So, all right, I think the government can come in when it comes to co-creating or co-creation of education. And in this way, I think we already have teachers, and it should be in a light where the government can once in a while have a roundtable meeting with teachers, have conversation with teachers, let them share what they think they can do better as far as teaching and learning is concerned. Yes, of course, government will come up with a policy, but implementation lies on the table of the teachers. So government can come and discuss with teachers what can we do better. Some of these policies the government can actually bring it out. Most of these policies are not even some policies that the teachers enjoy doing. So it is better before we can co-create. It is good that the government, the role they can play, aside structure, which is very, very important. In fact, our classroom must be restructured the way our classrooms are built, especially when it comes to public school. The private schools are doing much better in Nigeria. They are doing much better the way their classroom are structured. You know, unlike the way we see our public schools where it is teacher facing the student kind of seat. But the sitting arrangement in most private schools now is changing. You can have different kind of sitting arrangement that will help teachers and learners learn with between themselves. So what I'm trying to say here is that the role government can play is simply by having often time roundtable talk with policymakers, not just policymakers, now policy implementers like the teachers and those people that have maybe consultancy firm in the education sector that can actually bring ideas. Government must start listening to them to help create these ideas. In fact, the topic of this year's International Day of Education is how to talk about the co-creating of education, especially with the youth, which are our learners. But bringing the teachers on board in whatever they are planning can actually help in the long run, at the long run. And the other thing I should think, or I'm thinking, would be better for us as teachers if the government must come in as maybe co-creating or collaborating with teachers, is to try as much as possible to reach out to teachers while being trained, as Mrs. Emma said. Yes, it's a good one because the teachers who are being trained so most need to understand where they are going after they are learning from the school, maybe the college of education or university, the education department in the university. So the government can start reaching out to them, telling them what they want. If they have these ideas about the policy they think can be the best for the learners as well as the teachers.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. So because of our time, I might have to be like rushing a bit. And so I have a different question for Miss Rita, though not totally different, but somehow um I don't know what, just a bit different, right? So Miss Rita is involved with um special needs children, and I want to hear from her perspective. And now let's talk about, and this is now leading us to like inclusion. So, and we have seen a lot of videos, a lot of testimonies about special needs children doing great things in the education system, a lot of them doing marvelously well. But I want Ms. Rita to talk to say something about that. So how do you think that, what are the practical steps that you think government can take, school owners, teachers can take in also including the set of people into co-creating in education system? Because I know most times they are always kind of quote and unquote sideline when it comes to decision making, right? So I want you to help us see into that as a special need educator. What do you think are the practical steps that we can bring in this set of people this unique set of people into co-creation in education? Okay, you are
So hard. Can
muted.
you? Okay. I said, please, you were breaking so hard. Can you rephrase the question again, please? I couldn't hear
Oh,
you. The line was breaking.
oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? Please, IT, can you
Hello, can
confirm
you
my
hear me?
network? Can you confirm I'm audible? Or any other person? Am I very audible?
Yeah,
I want
I
to
can
know
hear
if
you
the
clearly.
issue.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can
I
I
can
hear
want
hear
to
you
know
you.
if.
clearly.
I heard it clearly, loud and clear. Mhm.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Miss Rita, if you can hear me, I think this is your side.
Oh,
I think she's from your side. Yeah. You might want to change your network or try to But can you hear me now? Let me ask again. Okay, I think our network. All
Can
right.
I just
So
jump in there, Evelyn, while
okay,
she's trying to get back? Can I just jump in
yeah,
there?
yeah,
Um,
please.
Okay, so I was good just to pitch in on the special education thing. A lot of times, and we can see that Mr. Bamido talked about policy, and that's the conversation that we haven't been having. That whole policy part of sitting down and talking to teachers about what really should be on the table. I remember having a conversation a few years ago just about special needs children and WAEC and NECO. And I was asking questions regarding what are the provisions for these students. So some schools have gone ahead to incorporate special education needs departments in their schools. They have provided the support, they have trained their teachers, they have given the children opportunities to have modified work or accommodations. But then they get to this point where they have to write external exams, and there's no form of support. There's no form of recognition that they exist and their needs exist. So I think it goes back to that policy part of not just policy, but even implementation of what does it mean to cater to the students with additional needs? What does it mean to cater to students with special needs? If you really look around a lot of our special needs schools in Nigeria, the students are abandoned in the sense that they're not provided for towards reaching some of these goals that other typical not neurodivergent learners are able to meet. And it is not for want of the fact that they can't reach these goals or they can't write this exam, but certain things need to be put in place that are not put in place. And many times schools cannot have those conversations. Schools cannot have those arguments with bodies, international or national bodies like WAEC, NECO, or JAM, because the policies do not exist to back them up. So we're back to that whole, yes, the government can have a sit down with bodies that represent special education or people with disabilities, with schools that cater to special education. And I think as teachers that deal with special education needs, we need to also come to that point where we form an advocacy group, we form a pressure group, and we make sure these conversations begin to happen.
Hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was awesome. That was awesome. I don't know if Mr. Bamido has anything to say.
Yes, I do. In
Yeah,
terms of,
please.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
All right. So, in my own perspective, I think it will be for the regulation, the government's role that can, when we talk about special needs children and in terms of their own type of education, I think the regulation could be a critical aspect we need to look into. Yes, because the regulation means that they must be told what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it. It's not that school A is doing this kind of stuff, school B is doing this kind of stuff, school C is doing this kind of stuff. It should be a uniform thing for all of them to work the same way. Because if we're talking about co-creation, we're trying to bring all of them together, all the special needs school in Nigeria. So there must be a regulatory body that is assigned to do this so that all of them must work together as teams so that they can achieve that common goal. I've not been a special needs teacher before, but I do understand that if a regulation is placed on how they operate, it will be best for all of them. Because if they are operating in isolation or differently, we can't achieve what we are trying to do, what we are even saying, the co-creating in education, especially when it comes to special needs. The idea of regulation must be there. The regulatory body must be there, set up to monitor the school so that they should maybe agree or accept the rules and regulations, how to operate, and how these learners are being taught, how they can come together to work as a team, something like that. I think that's my perspective.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We've really talked a lot about policy, and I think these are important conversations we should be having in the education system. I see Miss Rita on the call. Miss Rita, can you hear me now? You went muted again. Sorry. I think the height department
Yeah, can
were
you hear
actually.
me?
Oh, okay. That's okay. Yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So so Mrs. Ame and Mr. Bamido had actually given a kind of perspective to the question I asked. They've shared rich answers to the question, but I would still love to hear from you. So I was asking that as a special need educator, what do you think are the practical steps we need to bring in place so that we are also co-creating with the special needs student, and this has to like what steps do you think the government can take? What steps do you think school teachers, even parents can take so that we are co-creating with them? Because I believe parents are part of this co-creation. In fact, like sincerely,
Yeah.
they should be part of co-creation. Yeah, so please, I would need you to provide answer to that. Thank you.
Okay. Can everyone hear me clearly?
Yes, we can. I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry for the breaks over time. Okay, so if we look at it, we find out that in special education is not really known here in Nigeria. And if you look at it, when you talk about curriculum, if you look at the curriculum design, you find out that these children, they didn't create any platform where children with dyslexia, where children with ADHD, where children with autism can be able to learn. There was nothing because the government assumed, every child would learn the same way, forgetting that we are all diverse learners. Nobody learns the same way. So the government probably assumed that everybody would learn a certain way and just created a curriculum that just benefited certain group of learners. And then we find these ones coming up in the society, and then everybody is running helter skelter. How do we help these ones? How do we help these ones? How do we help these ones? Now, to become co-creators and able to help the ones in the special needs sector. I'm a therapist. I think the government should include special need educators and therapists in policy designs. When it comes to curriculum making, those ones who are trained in the special education world, you ask them, consult them. How do we help these ones? How do we help these children learn? For me, I feel all schools should be inclusive, where children with autism, where children with ADHD are able to learn. So this all assumption of everybody should learn a certain way should stop. Government now should include these people, special educators and therapists, so that we can tell them, we can talk to them and tell them, okay, this is how different types of learners learn. I work with children with dyslexia, and when I work with them, I found out that no one child learns the same way. So I have a book where I write down different types of learner, different types of of structures or designs I can actually produce or create to help these people. Now, when I have other learners, other people with dyslexia come up, I'm not running helter skelter because I've already listed out different types of center of disabilities and how I can help them. So I just pick out from one structure. So if government should include therapists and special educators, it makes the work very, very easy. We actually see therapists suggesting AAC tools. We are creating out different platforms like IEPs. IEP is called it's called an individualized educational plan. This is what you use to, this is a design document that contains the needs of the learners. So we are not now using the normal curriculum. We are not using the normal scheme of work to work with this kind of learners. Secondly, I think the government should also fund inclusive education properly. This call parents, call therapists. How do we help? How do we help? What should we do? Funding should be there. If we actually are able to fund, the special education sector, we find out that everything is going to run smoothly. We find out that education is actually going to be great in Nigeria. We don't have to now start traveling out of the country to look for a better system of education. Therapists, special educators, parents, curriculum designers, everyone should come together, put their heads together, and they are asking, okay, what can we do to help these learners? Because I can give you about 30 testimonies of learners who have become better just because there was a space for them. They were given an opportunity to air their views. Okay, this is how I learn best. I'm an auditory learner, and this is the tools I need for learning best. I'm a hands-on learner. These are the tools that I need best. So I think if government should include special educators, parents, and therapists in the policy designs, I think these people can actually become co-creators in special education, and education will become better in Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have a lot of comments on YouTube, people saying a lot of things, and they are so agree with you. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you so much. And as you're speaking, I can see the passion, right? Thank you so much. In fact, I'm really looking at it this way. I feel including churches and mosques, because we have parents who have special needs children, and they have to go to church. They have to take their children to mosques. And then I had someone sent me a message one time asking me how she can help, because she's a children teacher, but she's not an educator. And she realized that a lot of our children has certain behaviors, certain characters, and she's finding it difficult to manage it. What others have been doing has always come from the perspective of, you're a child of God, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. And we forget that these children have different stages of development and different things that comes with that stages of development. I have a toddler at home, right? And I can talk from experience. So we have different things that happen at different point of development, and we just put these children in children church, and many of the children, or many of the teachers rather, do not even know what to do when this thing is happening, and we just focus on, okay, we are teaching them Bible, we are taking them through. So these things has to be in place, including churches, including mosques. We need to be able to understand the development process of these children, because everybody needs to come together to build an holistic child. We can't do it alone. The teachers cannot do it alone. The schools cannot do it alone. In fact, the government cannot do it alone. They need us to be part of it. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I would love to take questions, just two questions from the participant, and I will just go. So first people to raise their hand for questions are those that will pick. Oh, I already see a hand raised. I already see one hand raised, and I'm trying to see who is raising their hand. Sorry. I'm trying to see who is raising. Okay. I'm not seeing the person anymore. Okay. All right. So I would just wait again. If you have any question, kindly raise your hand. If you have a question you want to ask any of the speaker, kindly raise your hand. Our time is running like it has some special shoes to run. All right. Okay. I will take that as no question. Or if you want to drop it in the chat, you can drop your question in the chat. Okay, I see some.
Yeah, I was actually trying to raise my hand, but I don't know. So I don't know if I can talk.
Please, you can go ahead. Thank you.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Please ask your question. You can go ahead.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. My name is Martina Egwibe. It's been a wonderful discussion this evening. I'm actually a librarian. So my own question is, I want to connect this discussion to the library and to the librarian. So I want to find out, we are talking about co-creating and our target is the youth. And I want to ask the question, how can this be connected to the library? Does the library has a role to play in this co-creating in education as it has to do with the youth? So I don't know if anybody can help me answer the question. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Mrs. Samuel, would you love to answer that? I think after you, they would have come to Miss Rita.
Did you say me?
Yeah, would you love to answer that?
Okay, I can go for it. So library, I mean, that's one of my loves, books. And I think, like I said before about co-creating, there has to be a creating part before there's a code to it, right? What's the what's behind it? And the place where how I can see libraries and librarians fitting into this, I see them also as co-creators, right? So we're not just limiting it to teacher, classroom teacher, to school owner, and to the students. The librarian fits in because remember, even as teachers, we teach our children to read, right? And then we teach them, they learn to read when at the younger ages, they are learning to read. And then they are the older ages, they are reading to learn. So for that learning to happen either ways, the librarian fits in. The librarian fits in the selection of books, in the types of books, and the types of books and the selection of books leads to all kinds of exposure. And those kinds of exposure feeds into life experiences, life skills, and meeting those aspirations that we talked about. So I see the librarians as co-creators in education, and I just see how schools will benefit so very much from having set up libraries, because set up libraries benefit each and every learner at whatever point of the reading journey they are at, whether they are learning to read as early preschoolers or early elementary, early primary school children, or whether they are reading to learn as older primary school children and secondary school children. Every part of their journey, and even for teachers, right? Every part of their journey of learning has everything to do with the library, the kinds of books they have access to and exposure to. So it's such a whole world of creating and co-creating that happens with well set up libraries and the contributions of librarians who have the knowledge base.
Thank you so much for that. Miss Rita, can you quickly answer the question?
Okay. Programs, I think programs should not just be, guests. Programs should not be guests. They should be built together. Today, there's a saying that says if you really want to hide an information from an African man, you hide it inside a book. And we don't want that statement to become true. As a librarian, what you need to do is that you need to actually create, that platform where you get to connect with your learners. You get to know their area of interest. What do they like? What do they like? I have a learner who loves, who loves stories, these cartoon animated stories. And what I do myself is sometimes I go on Canva and try to create, stories, get, books from, just try to read any book and try to create it for him. And then he gets to learn it. And then I apply it to, real life events. So as a librarian, you can actually become a co-creator by really getting access to your learners. Create a platform where you can connect with them emotionally. You get to discuss with them. What are the kind of books you like? Okay. In future, what do you really think? What do you really think you can actually become? You understand? It starts from reading. And by the time you get to know all of these things, you are the one to source for the kind of books they read. Like Miss Ame said, you are the one to source for the kind of book. You go back to the library and see the kind of books that are there and how can they benefit these learners. Now, another thing I want you to understand is that whatever they are reading should not just be for fun. It should be something that would help them in life, because I think our books, our academic, whatever we are doing right now in school should reflect, the future. It should reflect the future. So Elena comes up to say today, I want to become a great farmer. What books are on farming? how would that book in the library help him? So your job now is for you to connect with them and actually provide all of those books, keep it ready for them, and even help them keep track of the things they've actually read before and make sure they implement it. By
Thank
that, you're
you.
actually becoming a co-creator.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because of our time, we have to be moving so fast now. We had actually booked a particular hour for this. Sorry. All right. So we have some questions in the chat. Okay, so I don't know. I think I would love any of our speaker to answer this. Maybe Miss Rita can go for it. Are there courses or books, or what are the courses or books a teacher can incorporate to help special needs children in their classroom without experience? I think this is coming probably from a school that or a teacher who has a special need child in his or her class and doesn't have the experience to teach that child or teach those children. I don't know, Ms. Rita, do you get the question?
Please come again. Are they asking
Okay,
for
so
courses?
so the person is asking for courses or books he or she can take or read to be able to teach a special needs student in their class, even without experience.
Okay. So I'm going to use myself as an example. Before I started working with children with dyslexia or with autism, right? I intend. If you don't have an experience at all, I would advise you intend. I would not tell you to go and start working with children like that, just like that. Intend first to get the idea. Now it's very easy for me to tell you go and pay for a course. See, this course, special education, is vast. And if you don't know how to work with them, with this kind of children, you can implicate yourself. We want your name to, we want your name to be remembered, because any little mistake, actually, your name can just, everybody can term you as a very bad person, as a bad educator. So please, I will advise you intern first. When you intern, you get the knowledge, and from there, you know the right courses you do, right? But then if you want a course, I actually got my own course from, I trained with Patrick Speech in Lagos, Patrick Speech Learning Center. And after I was done, that I'm now able to work with this kind of children. But I will advise you intern, look for a special educator, look for a special needs school. If you don't have the experience at all, look for a special needs educator and intern. I bet you, even when you're reading, you might just know these things, reading them. You might only know the terms, you might know the terminologies, you may know methodologies on how to work with them, but you need experience. You need experience. So I would advise first you intern, or then you look for a for Patrick Speech Learning Center, or anybody who is really good at special education to to work with them, to know more about it. And then before you know what is happening, you can start working with them.
Wow, thank you so much. So the last question for this session before we move fully to our panel session, and trust me, our panel session is not going to take a lot of our time, but I'm sure we are going to enjoy it. All right, so the question is, I think I would love both Mr. Bamido and Ms. Hamed to answer this. What do you think? What do you do when parents are not taking their responsibility at home as co-creators of their children education? I don't know if you got the question. Hi, Miss Ame.
Okay. I can jump right in. So what do you do? Let me give this line. You do what you need to do. It's a reality that you are definitely going to meet parents that are not going to take their responsibilities at home as co-creators of their children's education. You are definitely going to meet those parents. They're adults, so there are many things you cannot force them to do. There are many things you don't have the authority or power to force them to do. So what can you do in those kind of situations? do what you need to do. I think I had a conversation a couple of years back over some courses being done about this same kind of scenario. And I think the professor at that time said, just imagine that the students who come to your room do not have educated parents at home to support them. What would you do different?
Mm.
And I think that's a question as teachers we need to understand that we're going to meet educated parents that are not going to step up to the plate. We're going to meet uneducated parents that are not going to step up to the plate. And we need to do right by the children by giving them the best that we can in our classrooms. So we meet them a couple of hours a day, a couple of periods a day. What can we do with them? Building solid relationships is a good place to be at because when you do build some of those relationships, you're able to make more impact in their lives beyond the classroom. You're able to get them even functioning or doing going above and beyond or doing their best even outside your classrooms. So I think it's very important that we take it as a reality that we will meet those parents. Am I dismissing the fact that we shouldn't engage with the parents? No, engage with the parents. And from your professional point of view, you can lay the cards out on how important it is. I mean, research has backed us as educators to say that when children are supported, even as little as reading to them at home, it makes a whole lot of difference. But then you're going to meet those who wouldn't do their part. But you need to, as a teacher, you need to do right by that child coming into your classroom each and every day. So yes, sometimes it might mean you going above and beyond. Sometimes it might mean you making sure that things happen within your classroom that provides that child with enough experience and exposure to meet those learning targets that other children are getting support from at home. So don't leave the child high and dry. Don't leave the child hanging, and don't punish the child for the neglect or the irresponsibility of the parents.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was rich. The answer was rich. Thank you so much. Mr. Bamido, can you quickly give just few seconds, 30 seconds, can you answer that? Thank you.
All right, all right. I think what we can do because parents also are key players in their children learning process also. So as teachers, what we can do to help our children, especially at home with parents, is that we must start giving them fun activities because this fun activity will make the parents want to help, want to assist their children. Yes. Instead of asking children to go home and write 1 to 500, you can just create an activity for them. Instead of writing, you can ask them, for instance, if you are teaching numbers in mathematics or arithmetic, you're teaching numbering, how the child will be able to know 1 to 100. Instead of asking the child to go home and stress the parents to start writing 1 to 100. You can actually make it counting. You can just ask them to, you know what you're going to do? Just get me 100 items. It can be maybe matchsticks or stone or bottle cap, all that, or buttons, as little buttons. These are activities you can give to children when they go home, then their parents will want to support them, especially when it comes to this co-creating we're talking about. So at fun activities that will not have to do with writing, that the parents will spend their time trying to write or trying to read books also for the children. They can make activities. Go home. Your assignment today is go home and discuss with your parents. Let your dad or your mom share a story how you can go to a market. You're talking about marketing in primary school, or like of course there are some in Edo State, for instance, we have in our syllabus or this curriculum, we have a part of commerce that primary school need to learn. So you can just do a simple activity at home and come to school as your assignment. That will be your assignment. So fun activity like this can actually help instead of asking parents to start writing 1 to 500, which is to me it's not the way forward.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we have a question, but I think I would just transfer that question to our panels where we have them. So thank you so much, Mr. Bamido. Thank you, Miss Ame. Thank you, Miss Rita, for this wonderful session. It's good to have you guys on the call. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I
Thank you
enjoyed
for
the
having us.
answers. I enjoyed the conversation, and I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed it also. I'm seeing a lot of comment, and that's so good. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so thank you very, very much. IT department, I think we can stop spotlighting them now so that we can move on to our panels. Thank you so much. So before we move on to our panels, once again, if you are joining us for the first time, this is TTT, Train the Trainer. We are an organization that we're dedicated to equipping African teachers, African educators, and one core thing at her heart is seeing a transformation in the African education system. Thank you so much. And if you're here and you want us to come train your school, train your teachers, we are always available for that service. Or you can always send us an email at admin@trainthetrainer.com. Admin@trainthetrainer.com. I think someone can help us put that in the chat and also help us put it on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you so much for everyone joining us on YouTube. I can see a lot of comment on YouTube, a lot of comment on YouTube. We have different services. We have training for school leadership. If you're looking at building a school, you're looking at finding building that good structure and system for your school, good leadership around your school, we are available to train you. We are available to train you. Thank you so much. I'm waiting for us to put that in on YouTube. So please, yeah, we are readily available to either come to your school or even have to teach online, train your teachers online. We are always available for that. And we have a training coming up. We have our educator architect retreat coming up, and that retreat is going to span for a period of 3 weeks. We have the flyer. If you're on our group chat, you have seen the flyer. We are anticipating that you be in that room. We want to see everyone here in that room. We want to see builders of education of educator builders in our education system. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. Okay, thank you so much. I've seen what I'm looking for. I was waiting for the YouTube to um message to load. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yeah, so we'll move on to our panel session now. So I also forgot to mention, if you are willing to partner with us in any way, kindly send us an email also, and we'll be right there to give you a response and reply your email immediately. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'll be introducing our panel, and one of our panel had actually sent me her profile so that I can read, and I'm still going to read to us because I love it a little too much. All right, so first I would like to bring on board Mr. Bamido. Oh, sorry, Mr. Majeko to me. Mr. Bamido, it seems like I want to speak again, but maybe another time. Mr. Majeko to me, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, hi T, please do your thing. Help me get Mr. Majeko to me and spotlight him. Thank you so much. We'll be having um Miss Phenomena. Miss Phenomena. I don't know if you're on the call. Miss Phenomena, are you on the call? Okay, I'm expecting Heidi to help with those names. So that also reduces my distraction. Thank you. Miss Philomena, I don't know. All right. Then we have Mrs. Blossom. Mrs. Blossom, are you here? Mrs. Blossom, are you here? Mrs. Blossom might actually be joining with Melly, so we might want to look for that name for either of the name so that we are spotlighting the right person. And I have Mrs. Bliss also as one of my panel. Mrs. Bliss. Please let's try to spotlight those people. Okay, I have seen Mrs. spotlighted. Then we have Miss Sandra. Mrs. Sandra. I think I got Mrs. Sandra message saying that our network kicked her out. I don't know if she's back now. So please let's just be on the lookout for them when they come back. I don't want us to take a lot of our time waiting for them to join. All right, thank you so much for joining Mrs. Bliss and Mr. Magic Koduni. It's good to have you on the call tonight. So I'm just going to read Mrs. Bliss' bio. So Mrs. Bliss Oluwatoyin Adekola is a seasoned administrative manager with a passion for education, particularly special education needs, with hands-on experience in overseeing school operations, staff management, and community relations. Her key skills include excellent communication, empathy, and adaptability, making her a valuable team player. She has undergone extensive CPD programs, including leadership training, childcare, and special needs education. Her work experience includes admin health roles in schools, where she demonstrated her ability to lead, manage, and innovate. With a strong educational background in sociology as a first degree and human resources management at the master's level, and recently completing a diploma in special education needs, Bliss is a resourceful and effective professional ready to make a positive impact. Thank you so much. That was an awesome one. I'm expecting us to celebrate, right? Please, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate people. Thank you so much, Mr. Bamido, for that. All right. So, before we go on, I would love Mr. Bamido to introduce himself. Since I'm unable to read his bio.
Yeah, so I said I would love to accept that my name is Mr. Bamido for this night because you called me that same name over and over. So it's fine. It's also a very fine name. So I would have to talk to.
Laughing,
Yeah.
actually. I was wondering why you were smiling. Thank you.
Well,
Sorry for
I would still
that.
have to meet. I would meet Mr. Bamido to know the meaning before I fully adopt the name. Yeah, but it's fine.
I'm
It's fine.
sorry. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
fine. I understand. I understand. So my name is Majagodin Balaji. I am a graduate of the University of Lagos, where I got a degree in early childhood education. So I currently work with the Lagos State government as an education officer. Then I also work, I double as an online tutor where I teach international students. I think what I would just say is that my strength lies in taking learning from simple to complex. So and the primary stage is where my strength is because I love the feeling of taking children out of darkness into light as I see it lately. So I believe with that kind of foundation that I always give, most times I always look up to my learners in the nearest years to say yes, this one went through me, this one went through me, and that is one of those things that give me joy. So thank you for this opportunity. I won't take it for granted. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So, yeah, I'll go to my first question. All right. So I think I'll start from Mrs. Bliss. This question is just to what word will I use now? To elaborate what has been said during the guided conversation so that we are all carried along, right? Yeah, so the first question is, why do you think youth participation is critical to the future of education? Hi T, please. I think she's talking. Can you unmute?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Ma. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so I want to say a very huge thank you to the TTT community. You are doing an amazing job, and I must say that you're already co-creating. By this webinars you organize, trainings is part of co-creation. So kudos to the community, the TTT community. I always want to start my conversation with first appreciating teachers. Don't say the credit. I'll take students so I can't readily read. So everyone is each a good way above beyond for their students, for people, for their learners. I just to salute you tonight. I say well done. Your role will not be inherited from here. When you see students or people as they excel and shine, they tag you in their stories. I mean, that is something that is more than good. So I must celebrate everything that is way above and beyond. And for those that are still struggling, I will encourage us to still, it just takes personal comment and sacrifice to get it done. I don't think that the educational system in Nigeria is fully functional. It's not effectively and efficiently functional to get the results that we should expect. So beyond policy formations, regulations, there is a lot of work to do. And I think of the challenge we face, even when we identify with the theme of year theme for the International Education Day, is the fact that most of the time, the only factors that are concerned in education are just the policies made as concerned curriculum and the teachers, and then what they communicate to these pupils or their students. We forget that in the educational system is a structure. So I want to use analogy as an analogy. You have different parts of the system that makes up the body. So we can't just say curriculum is all that is needed for active education and learning, where you just take the teacher in the classroom and then you take the learners. I put it together. Those are too far down. We would not get education to the point where we need it to compete properly with what's trending in the world today. So if I must answer the question in the context of our discussion today, I would say that the role of the youth can be negotiated from every stakeholder, be it from the people that come to learn, from the kids, because we build a lot of values with our personal skills into the school environment. We teach the curriculum. So those things are things also impact the life of child teaching. We can separate one from the other. I don't know if you can hear me, please.
I can.
Okay, so if we are at education to the level that it ought to be, particularly within for this year, we see the power in creating education. What is power they have? Their youth, their excellence, their innovative spirits, and the power, the audacity, the tenacity, because you can see some children in classrooms where they come to you and they ask you some questions. Some of the teachers are taking aback, just like, wow, this job, where did it come from? So we must look at tenacity. We must look at the confidence, the boldness. We must look at the global space of technology right now and what it is bringing to the table. I think the theme last year was AI. All these factors are put to play to ensure that for us to effective education, the youth must be given that opportunity, must be given the leverage, they must be given the strength, the capacity to lend their voice to the current trend in education. It can never be business as usual. So from the angle of an administrator, I want to encourage us to say, please, once our learners go into the school environment, You must learn them that year and listen. Because sometimes as a teacher, you feel that because you are the teacher, you know, there's no experience that is recent. Some Christian students or learners will ask the classroom, will make you think and go back and do better research as it ought to be. So it takes a lot of rage, boldness, audacity, tenacity, strength, and resources too to get voices so that I can bring everything that modifies them as youth to the tables. Our education space can compete effectively globally and bring the future that we desire in Nigeria as a country closer. So I want to start with that. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Mr. Bami, sorry, Mr. Bolaji. Mr. Bolaji, please can you
Yeah, it is fine. It is fine. Yeah. All right.
no, I
So
need to get it right. I can see Mr. Bamido already on the call. I don't know what he wants to say, but I need to get the name right. I'm so sorry about that.
all right, all right, all right. It is a pardonable offense. So the
Okay.
role of the youth, yeah, the role of the youth in this whole thing. So if we are to ask now that what is the population of the youth in the country, the youth, the age range of the youth is more than every other age range that we can imagine. It's more than every other age range that we can imagine. So it means that for every sector that we find ourselves, there is a possibility that the youth would always be more than every other person. So we can't separate the relevance of the youth of today as far as education in Nigeria is concerned. We can't separate the fact that they are like the major key players. So if we also look at the various developments in the sector lately, the growth, the new methods of teaching, you would then realize that what it is the youth that are bringing up these things. It is still the youth that are bringing up these things, because if you're looking at introduction of AI, I'm so sorry, let me just attend. Bukola ò dẹjọ́ tó lọ bá mi gbà mọ́ ìmú wọn fún wa ní kinní náà, báwo ló ń ṣe báyìí? Ó dẹ̀ pé mò ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. That's the joy of being a father.
I'm so sorry. My little baby just came in, so she wanted to come and knock daddy. She has not seen me since she just woke up. So I'm so sorry about
Yeah.
that. So the role of the youth cannot be overemphasized. They are the major key players of today. So go like for someone like me now that I'm into the online space. I teach online. So I had a colleague who is way older than me. He is in his 50s. So and I can remember a particular day that I joined his online class. So I had the learner saying she was not enjoying the class. So I asked why, because I felt this person is someone that I learned from. So the whole thing was, I'm afraid I can't talk to him. I can't ask him questions because he's too old. So where do we go from there? I'm not saying those the aged ones should not have opportunities also. No, I'm not saying that. But this generation of learners that we are having lately, they prefer someone that they can relate with, like friends. So when you see me in class, sometimes you would feel like I'm also a learner, because I sit down on the floor sometimes with this learner just to relate. I come down to their level. Some of them will tell me things that they cannot even tell their parents. So as regarding this whole thing that we are here for now, it's more like we're saying co-creation is having all stakeholders on ground, having all stakeholders on ground, leaving no one behind. I wouldn't want a situation whereby an activity has occurred in the school and it ends there in the school. There are a lot of things that start in the school and they end there right there in the school. It doesn't nothing nothing is being checkmated again until another opportunity comes for these learners to be in the class. So still, we cannot say overemphasize the role of the government in this whole thing. What training are we giving these teachers? What are we exposing them to? And those that are in this sector, why are they in? If we are to be sincere with ourselves now, we would realize that majority of us in this sector, we are like tenants, we are like occupants for a period of time. So we're just doing this thing for a better opportunity. So it's like a tenancy job for us, like a side gig. So it is important that the youth need to be understood on their demands, on what they expect, and understand why they are in what they are doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Thank
think
you.
that is fine. So the youth need to be carried along because they cover larger population of the society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we had a question before we started the panel session, and I think I would want us to go over that question again. So the question is I'm trying to look for the question in the chat. Yeah, so I would really love that Mrs. Bliss answer this. What structure can we put in place for youth that has low self-esteem and that is affecting their education and parental maybe that might have be caused by a parental background, right? So, but I think the way the person wrote the question is affecting their education and parental background, or maybe the person was trying to say it is caused by parental background. All right, so but what structure can we put in place? Because yeah, I see this question very relevant because when we say we are cooperating with youth and we want you to get involved, so what happens when we have, and Mr. Madekodumi was talking about a student who was scared of talking to a particular teacher because of the age gap. So, well, maybe that has come in, maybe that was because of low self-esteem, we can't say, or maybe it's also because of the approach of the teacher or the way the teacher had taught the students. So we can't really give a full story or details to that. But when it comes to youth having low self-esteem, how do we bring them in to cooperate? It's kind of a difficult task. So I don't know, do we have any structure as an administrator, Mrs. B? Do you think there are structure that you can put in place in school, that schools can put in place and teachers can implement to help children with low self-esteem?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to say that the school environment should be a safe space for any learner to learn. And when I mean safe space, I don't necessarily mean physical safety of the child. So a child coming to school should feel safe to school so that it gets maybe as home. Some children are going through molestation, maybe going through bullying, maybe going through abuse, emotional, maybe psychological, it should be financial, etc. So once child crosses that in the school environment, entire school atmosphere, school environment be a safe atmosphere. This child say, okay, we left all the horrors I at home behind. This is a place where I can open up, learn, communicate, and live myself without any judgment. So what's the design of this school place for child that's coming in? What kind of atmosphere is the teacher also bringing to the school? Remember, teachers are all humans. A teacher that is going to our own bias, financial issues will be coming in the school environment and exchange love as it were to a child that is coming. So that it is being toxicity from a child is coming and toxicity also from teacher that teaches the child. So I want to say that the structure of the schools be such that there will be love, It must be an open space where every child feels safe to open up, and like some children, like Mr. Bamijoko, no, sorry, I'm also reading the Mr. Bamijoko way of saying that it goes down to the level of children to interact with them at their level. So you take that rope of a secular teacher and be a child. Let them know they have your trust, they have confidence, and they have your listening here to hear them out. So don't shut them down and say, you're always cleaning. Because like Christians, we don't necessarily know the kind of trauma that is leading to low self-esteem for this child. So you may want to carefully try, and they would have for night to be just to people that they also with confidence. Don't sleep. What you give this is that going to be from home, from somewhere, you know, take information back and communicate it to the parents, you know, try it like, and then begin to create more for the children home. I think city is necessary for every school to have a safe environment for children to come in, so that whatever issues they are coming into the school with, once they get the gate, those insecurity, those low self-esteem issues are just at the gate, and they can feel that they have a trust community of peers in that room, of my class chair, of every stakeholder in this community, to make feel as if I'm being and heard and I'm cared for. So that is my take on those kind of structures in school environment for self and issues and related issues that children may be through. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. Because of our time, we'll go to the last question, and I'll start from Mr. Bamido. Mr. Bamido, so I know you teach online, and then you also teach in the classroom, but I need so I want you to use your knowledge of classroom teaching to answer this question. So what So how do you bring in youth when it comes to planning your activities in class? How do you bring them in to co-create with you in activities planning and what you do in the classroom? And I also want Ms. Bliss to answer this. As a school administrator, how do you train your teachers to bring in youth or bring in the students, yes, the students, the youth, to co-create when it comes to planning the curriculum or trying to put together this classroom activities that you do? I would love Mr. Majekodumi to start.
Okay. All right. Thank you for this. So for someone like me that take um young learners, so one of those things that I do is I try to make the children love me first. So I try to make the children love me. So the moment these learners love their teacher, there is a tendency that learning is going to take place. That learning is going to take place. I've been in a situation whereby a child would tell me, Mr. Majek, even if I fail every other subject, I can never fail your own. And I asked her why. She said, because I would not sleep. I know you won't talk to me again if I don't do well. Yeah, it is the kind of environment that I've created. I always make them understand that you need to give me something whenever I give you something also. And for you to be my friend, then you must be able to offer something. So they always come with the spirit of giving so that they can receive from me. Of course, yes, I am a giver. And sometimes my colleagues will say that I bribe the learners to learn. It's not the case. It is the way I see. I've seen the problem and I've seen that this thing is working. Even the fact that I teach online international students, I still give sometimes. So there was a child that I sent some money to on the birthday, and the mom was like, "Why are you sending money to my child?" I said, "Oh, just for the birthday." So she was like, "You are in Nigeria and you are sending someone in the UK some money. How does that make sense?" Yeah, it doesn't have to make sense sometimes, but it is what I do, and there is no time I will meet with the child So she's always making reference to it that, okay, you've given me, so I need to give also. It is one of those sacrifices that we give as a teacher. Then bringing it back to developing the curriculum, developing the lesson for the day. Yeah, I've found myself in a situation whereby I told learners to take charge of the class. I don't know everything. There are some things that I know only a little, and I would just look around and I would ask, okay, which of you can actually do this? So I've been, okay, like I have a child in my physical classroom that is into music. So the child learned music. So I don't know music so much, and I have to teach as a primary school teacher because I take all the subjects. So I asked, and one of the friends pointed the girl out, and I don't know, she's someone that has always been quiet. I never even imagined that she does music. So she was the one that now came out and explained the whole thing to the class. I sat like I knew everything. Of course, as a teacher, you would expect the learners would expect more from you. So as she was teaching, I took note. So I don't see myself above the learners. So because as a teacher, the moment you take yourself above the learners, then it brings a gap. So like I said, and I would always say that I always come down to the level of the children. So I make them feel it is a combined effort. So you're giving and I'm giving. If you want to learn from me, then you should be ready to teach me something also. So most times you find my content being exchange of knowledge. That's what I tell them. I said, let us exchange knowledge. Give me what you have, then I'll give you what I want. So that is how I believe I've been able to put the children into the same box of learning that I find myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mrs. Bliss.
Okay, I think Mr. Balaji has addressed some of the points I would have raised. Because you can't be all in all. You can't be Lord of the Manor in the classroom. Your students or your pupils must have the confidence to know that you can relate with them one-on-one on their level and let them express themselves on how much they know, and then you can now wrap it up for them. I think another factor that can be considered is to move from the place of being an instructor to a facilitator. So you give them projects, you give them assignments, go do a research on this, do research on this. And then everybody comes back to the classroom and table their matters as they understand it to be. And in the summary, you can now bring out issues, maybe salient points that they were not able to address, not to put them down, but to let them know that these are other areas that could have added more value to what they have done. The MUN, the Model United Nations, is a project that is run by some schools. It's something we run in my school where we model the United Nations. I don't know how many schools. I don't know people that are on the meeting that have that in the school. So you just model the design of the United Nations. You create students to belong to different countries. They handle debates about those countries. So you can bring it to the local school system. Is it something about the dining hall? Is it something about sanitation? Is it something about dressing? Is it something about self-esteem? Organized debate, inter and intra-school debates can come up under that MUN where they can come together and state their cases because they are youths. And you'd be amazed that, like Ms. Bolaji said, their ideas, their reasoning capacity, their mental abilities is way beyond ours. If we are not careful and we continue like this, the youth, the children, the pupils in our classroom will take over. And then what becomes of us as teachers? So I think for us as teachers, we need to learn. Continual personal development is also key. You must be on top of the game. You must be relevant in the changing dynamics of the world to ensure that your voice is heard. And when you speak, people know that, okay, I know she knows or he knows what he's talking about. So the task is huge, but if we stay at it and we put in all the effort, like I said, I keep commending teachers, it's never easy. The pay is not commensurate to the services you render, but for each child that gets the appropriate teaching that the child expects to get, it's something that will give you joy at the end of the day that you have done well in your task as a teacher. So thank you so much, all teachers, for your work that you do. We deeply appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Mr. Bamido, for that awesome answer. And here is where we are calling it a night today. And it's been an awesome time trying to learn from every one of us. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. 1 minute. All right, thank you so much, everybody. I don't know. I know a lot of us might have questions, but um, I think we'll just answer those questions in the chat because we spent a lot of time, right? This is 9:45 already, and we are going to work today, and I'm sure a lot of us are stressed. I'm so sorry for the background noise. All right, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And at this point, I would invite Dr. Kashi for the closing remark. Thank you. Hi, Dr. Kashi.
Dear. Good evening, everyone. It's been a long day. I'm so thankful for each of you. Thank you, Mrs. Bliss. Thank you, Bolaji. I'm not going to make the mistake with your name. Thank you, Ene Ame. Thank you so much. I mean, I don't have anything to really say or to really add. You've done justice to this topic this evening. Thank you. Thank you for your commitment to this session, for preparing Chidima. Who else did I see? Mr. Patrick as well. Sorry, Bamido Patrick. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for this very enlightening session. I just want to say one or two things. Sorry, you hear my kids in the background. They've just come in from all manner of things. Everything you've said this evening has been spot on. I've been listening in the background and just, listening to the examples that you've cited. But one of the things Mrs. Bliss said in the last remark she made was how we're listening to students and how we're getting them involved in the process, getting the youths involved. I think one of the important things that we must understand is that we must move from being the sages on the stage to being guides on the side. Many of us just sit there talking to them, talking at them, and we don't get them involved in the process. And this is not about using their slangs or using the kind of words they use, those type of things. But this is a call where we start to ask ourselves, how can we redesign the system that our children or this youth are about to inherit? How can we redesign it? Because the youth have a lot of power. And if we let them know that they have that kind of power, like, getting them, just being a facilitator of their learning, not just throwing things at them, let them go and discover. Let them discover. Let's push them to those places. I was speaking to a young person, about 16 years of age, very intelligent, coming first in class and everything. But one of the things I saw that she was really deficient in was her ability to communicate and her ability to think on the spot. And times have really changed. So it is important that we start pushing our students. We facilitate their learning. And that means that you're co-creating with them. What does this mean? It's not just about saying youth, 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 youth. It also means that we must become youth at heart. I think the Bible says, in your youth, and so you can be a youth till you're 80. There's something that has to change in our mindsets when it comes to responding to these students or interacting with them. One thing we must also note is that when we begin to listen to them, we'll feel a bit uncomfortable. Listening to them can be uncomfortable, especially because it's not the way we've been raised. So we must ask ourselves, are we listening to really hear them out? Or are we listening because, we must tick all the compliance boxes? Listening is uncomfortable. But when we truly listen, we begin to discover things in the system that may not necessarily be broken, but may be misaligned with their current posture, misaligned with their current realities. And this is a call for us to really move back and start asking ourselves, what is the current reality that we're facing? What is the current reality we're facing with the youth? We've seen, the conversations earlier was about how government can be invited in, and conversations, they need to work with us and things like that, education, curriculum designers and all of that. But we can no longer design education solely from our own experiences. We now have to start saying, how do we design intentionally with these people without excluding them? You know how students or people with special needs don't want to be excluded. Youths need to be pulled into the process. Okay? So here's the thing. I've told this story a couple of times, and this happened when I was in primary four in 1996. A teacher that was passing, and she really fueled my curiosity. Now these students, now this youth, they are completely divided. Attention is divided. Phones here, devices there, TikTok, Instagram, and all of that. But one of the things that we must start to do, and how we can posture in this season, is that we must become designers of learning. We must show them how to be architects of thinking. How do we think? Okay, not just garbage in, garbage out. How do we make them become stewards of relevance? That they understand that they are relevant in this season as well. And it has to be an intentional act on our path. I have a 10, nearly 11-year-old, and the conversation is changing. The kind of things he's asking me, the kind of things I'm seeing with him, is different from when I was, actively teaching in the university and teaching at college level. So a lot of things are really changing, but we must be open-minded to embrace those changes. So I think this is really important. How we approach this redesign, how we approach co-creating with youth, how we even get into those things that interest them. Once they see that you have those things are interesting to you, they start to open up. They start to say, this is how I want to learn. So one other thing we also need to think about is asking them, how do you want knowledge to come to you? Many times we think it's just writing on the blackboard or the whiteboard. We need to start asking the question, how would you want to receive knowledge? And you will see some students say to you, oh, I don't like exams, I don't like pressure and things like that. Knowledge comes to each of us, even as adults, in different ways. Being able to understand how knowledge comes to them is important, because that means you're bringing them into your process and they're inviting you into their world as well. Okay, so I think in closing, a few things. We need to start shifting from just content delivery, interrogating students and asking ourselves while we're teaching and embracing this new mindset, what kind of education system are we building? Who are we designing it with? Each time you're doing your lesson plan, you're teaching secondary school or whatever, teenagers, this kind of students, you start to ask, who am I designing this thing with? Pull them in, ask them how they want to receive knowledge. And then ask yourself, this thing I'm teaching them now, would it still be relevant to them in 5 years' time, in 20 years? One of the things that we have in our pedagogical series for TTTOS training platform is the thing about really stepping back and becoming a facilitator of learning, really stepping back and being a guide on the side. Let these students control a lot of the conversations that you begin to have with them in class. You will find that you're fueling a lot of things. And one last thing, if you do not redesign education with your students, with your learners, someone else will, and they will do it without you. So you have to be intentional about being that person that redesigns with them in mind. So thank you so much. It's been a long day. I know it's almost 10 p.m. Thank you for this session. I hope to see people in the coming weeks. A lot of things are coming. We've been busy, at the back. Haven't talked to a lot of people this year, but a lot of things are coming our way. And have a very good evening. Happy to take any questions, any feedback you may have, anything that you want answered, just one question, maybe a practical scenario that you may want answers to. I'm happy to do that. And then we can call it a night. Any questions? Thank you, Ijoma. Thank you, thank you. It's been a long day. I've been in several meetings, from one meeting to the other. But on a more serious note, I know that we're talking about the youth, and it almost always feels like we're talking, talking to teachers, talking to teachers, talking to teachers. I have just one question. How are you really? How are you? I don't know if anyone has asked you today, how are you intentionally? I'm really asking, how are you doing? How is work? How is life in general? How are you doing? How are you? Nobody's answering. Did they mute people's mics or what is going on? People are so quiet. How are you?
I think we can use the chat.
Okay, you can
Yeah.
use the chat. Okay. Let me ask this question because we've been saying do this, do this, do this. Let me ask you how you are first and how you're doing and how the term is going. Work was fine. Okay, I'm happy to hear that or read that. Bami, do I know you're fine? It hasn't been easy. You are joining fine, but it hasn't been easy. Okay. Any other person or people are sleeping? Work is good. We are pushing through. We don't have an option. We don't have an option. Work, work, work. Bolaji, take it easy. I'm looking at you with side eye. Okay. It's been fun, but actually stressful. It will get better. And I think this is where a shift in your mindset has to happen. When you say something is hard, 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 the moment we keep saying things are hard or difficult, that starts to frame our reality. It starts to frame our reality. It's very hectic. I don't dispute that, but let's be conscious about the kind of things we continue to say. The things we say. What we say, we begin to see. So we need to be conscious of the things we say. We're pushing it. We have to push it. Thank you for all the work you do with the students, hard work. Some people are still working on lesson plans and lesson notes this night, marking scripts. Thank you. They may not say thank you to you. You know your people. They may not say thank you, but we thank you. Thank you for staying here with us this evening and just committing to your learning and development. So I wish you a really happy weekend. And that's it from me. I will go up now. I think we're closing now. Okay, question. Okay, how do you want to receive? The question will be hard to ask considering the population and available teaching resources. Okay, Alibaba. Let me use this. There was a time. Okay, I'll just take it one at a time. I taught a first year course a few years ago, and in that class I had 114 students here in the UK. It was a very big hall, a large hall. But you know the thing that shocked everybody? I knew every student by name and surname. How did I do it? Every time, I asked a question in class, and, maybe someone will raise their hand, or even if they didn't raise their hand and I said, okay, do you want to speak about this? I'll say, please, can you tell me your name? And I'll mark that face. And so it became a practice. They knew that they couldn't escape. So in public schools, you have a lot of students. Yeah. But if you may not know everybody, but know a few names, know a handful of the names, and then start asking, even in class, you can ask them, how do you prefer to learn? Can you wrap it in a piece of paper if you can't allow people to speak so they can vote? And those were things that I did. I passed sheets of paper around. Even just taking, you may not have sticky notes, but you can, I'm next to a printer here. You can take normal paper and cut it all up and say, fill this for me. Okay. And if you want to make it easier, one means put it on the board. One means I like to learn by so, so, so. Two means I like to learn by drawing. Three means I like to learn on computer. So they should just put the numbers. By the time you do that, you're able to collate how people want to get educated or receive knowledge. The class sizes are big, but there are different tools that you can use to help you with your class differentiation. Okay, so I hope that helps, Ali. I'm great in Kaduna. I had an engagement with some colleagues and it was quite okay. Okay, so I hope that helps. Just get paper and cut it all up and pass it around the class. And then you start to see, the next session, it can be something like, when you're teaching, towards the end of the session, you have like your plenary. Do that where people now use that as a distressing method. And then you now say, okay, give me particular examples. And this can be the next class. People write those things down. But you are giving them very bound specific techniques. So if they like to learn by so and so, put it down. One is this. You know what one means to you. If you're asking them for examples, give them the particular kind of examples that you expect. So it restricts them, but also gives you a lot of context for them. Okay? I hope that helps. Any other question? Okay. Have a very good weekend. We're almost at the end of January. This January didn't feel too long. It didn't feel like 12 years in one. So I'm very pleased with that. So have a good weekend and God bless you and keep you. Good night, everyone.
IT, you can give us a song while we